Welcome back to my workshop. Now today we've got a fairly simple project. It's just a couple of cutting boards. Now these are used every day. I'm just going to give them a bit of care and attention. And this one here, which is the bigger one, I want to try and fancy it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is quickly show you how I'm going to go through the process, and I'll show you some of the materials I'm going to use. Right, let's have a look at these. Right, so the first cutting board, which is this fella here. Okay, this is our daily use. We use it for chopping and making sandwiches and all sorts. It's not that old, it's probably only about 6 or 7 years old. This is about 18.5 inches by about 12 inches. Okay, so it's not massive. This one has got some feet on the bottom, okay, which we're going to have to work around. The felt that was on these feet has gone a bit funny, so I might have to do something with those. But basically the whole thing has just got to be sanded down. I might do some engraving on this with the laser, but sand it down, engrave it, and then oil it. Okay, so that's fairly simple, this one. The other one, a little bit more involved. Now this is probably, God knows how old, probably about 25, 30 years old. It needs a bit of care and attention. You can see obviously where it hasn't been protected properly. It's actually soaked into the joints here, but it's not too bad. It's a good board. Again, I'm going to sand that down, but on this one there's no feet, but on the back here, okay, we've got some markings. Okay, we've got a burn mark here, and of course a little bit of something going on here. So I'm going to see if I can get rid of those. This is underneath, but I'll see if I can get rid of those. But also on this one, what I want to do is make a channel. Okay, so a juice tray, a juice channel from round the outside. Okay, and also some engraving in the middle. All right, so that's basic what I want to do. That's the basic idea of what I want to do. So I've got these two. I think the very first thing to do would be to give them a good sanding down, so I can see what I'm working with. So let's get the sander out. Right, well, our first problem already. And now after about 30 seconds of using this to sand it down, I've already gone through 2 sanding discs. Now these are quite well ventilated discs. Okay, they're mesh discs, so you get a lot of vacuum. Okay, you should clear it quite quickly. But because it's quite oily, it's completely blocked up the abrasion straight away. So there's 2 discs within about 30 seconds. Now at that rate I would end up using about 40 odd discs on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over it first with a card scraper or a cabinet scraper to see if I can get some of the oil off of this one and the other one over here. Okay, let's see how that goes. Let's give it a quick scrape. Right, well that seems to be far more effective. What I'll do is I'll scrape them with this first. Now this is only a cheap cabinet scraper, didn't cost much at all, but this could potentially save me a lot of money and a lot of time with sanding. So I'm going to scrape these all off, then I can sand it. Oh, why is it so complicated? Right, so even after using the card scraper and then doing some sanding again, it's still chocking up my sanding discs. Look. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on with that. That's going to get a bit boring watching that if I just carry on. So I'll get back to you as soon as I've done this one. Okay, on the bottom of this one, I mentioned it's got these little feet, but it's got these felt pads on it, and these have had it. So I'm literally just going to peel these off, if I can. Okay, there's one. I'll go around and do all these. Clean that up, and then I'll show you what I'm going to use later on for those. Oh, why is everything so sticky? Right, a quick catch up now. I've been sanding for ages. This is the first one. This is the one with the little feet on it. If you look at that now, that's nice and smooth. You can still feel the oil. It's very lightly oiled, but I don't think I need to go any further with that. But this is the other one I've got to tackle now. So you can see the difference after the scraping and the sanding. Okay, so now I've got to do exactly the same as I did to this, to that fella. You don't need to see that. Right, a quick tip for you. If you're using one of these card scrapers, which are proving to be really good, I'll probably advise putting on a pair of gloves first, because once you've been using these for about 5 minutes, they start digging in your hands. So, pair of gloves, and then carry on. Here we go. Right, so this is the older board here. I've scraped and sanded this. This has got a few more battle scars in it, but I'm going to leave some of them because it's not a new board. It's got a story to tell, so I'm going to leave the front as it is. But as I mentioned earlier on the back here, we've got this mark. Now, I've sanded a lot of it away. There's another mark here and some along the bottom. Yeah, if I try and sand that anymore to get rid of it, I'm going to end up making a little bit of a dished surface on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this, which is oxalic acid. Okay, so wood bleach. And now with this, obviously this is a cutting board, but this is the bottom of the cutting board. But I'm going to try and bleach this and maybe this and this bit here, but then rinse it really well to neutralise this acid, okay, because this is oxalic acid. Okay, so let's try that and see if that works. Right, so it's a very light coating of this oxalic acid. Okay, it's this Liberon stuff. As I say, I'm going to neutralise this afterwards with plenty of water. I've got to leave that now for about 10 minutes, so it's probably long enough to go and have a cup of tea. Right, so that was after 2 applications of the bleach. I think it's done quite a good job there. Let's get you in focus. Yeah, look. So obviously you can still see these bits, but that's on the join. It's done a good job there. Right, I must neutralise that, so I've got to put a bit of water on it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over here to the old laser and start doing a quick design to actually laser onto the front of it. Right, so I'm going to do this design. Hopefully you can see it without the lights shining. There we go. Right, So this is the design I'm going to do on the top of it. The only problem is, let me see if I can show you. I won't show you how I did the design because that's a completely different video. But the problem is the size of the cutting board. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so that is my cutting area. Okay, but the cutting board's wider than the laser. So what I'm going to have to do is turn that sideways, and then when I put the cutting board in here, it's going to have to be sideways. So let me turn that round and get it all mounted, and then we'll start burning. Right, so I've now got the cutting board on the laser here. I've rotated it in the design, so now it's going long ways. So basically this is going to cut sideways. What I've done is I've quickly framed it. Okay, so I've lined it up now. So this is obviously the edge of the cutting board up the sides here. So now if I frame it with the laser, this laser should follow the edge of the cutting board. Let's quickly frame that. Can you see the laser? Okay, it's following the edge. When it gets to the top, it should go across the top, which it's doing. And then hopefully when it comes down this side, it will be right on the edge. Okay, right, so I'm happy with that for a position. All I've got to do now is push the go button. Perfect. Right, the first big one is now finished on the laser. It's probably got to be sanded down again, but before I do that I've got to do a juice channel around the outside. But what I'm going to do now is do exactly the same design on the smaller board. You don't need to see that because it's exactly the same. Okay, so I'll swap over now and then we'll start doing the juice channel. Right, I hope you can hear me because it's quite loud in here at the moment. What I'm going to do now is do a juice channel all the way around here. I'll have one going all the way along the bottom so it can drain off the ends. Then I'll have one up each side and one across the back that will join to this one on the bottom. Just using my router here, okay, with a little guide on it, and the bit I'm using is just a little round over bit. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully it will go right first time, because if it doesn't, then this will be ruined. Now I've just done the juice channel on this one. I've decided to just do a crisscross type, so it doesn't matter which way you can run the juice off, but at least you can do it under control. The other one is just finished on the laser. Let's get that off. Okay, so this one's just finished on the laser now. So what I've got to do is give these another quick light rub down. Then I've got to sort the feet out on the smaller one, and then just some oiling. So let's give it a little sand down. so now let's have a look at these feet. Now, previously they just had a bits of felt stuck on them. But about 6 months ago, I bought these from Parkside, okay, so from Lidl's. And they're just little felt pads, but they've got pins on them. So let's get these out of the box and see if they're going to be any good. They might be a bit big. If they are, then we'll have to change our mind. Let's get these out of the box. Right, so these are basically felt pads, but they actually come with a little drill. Let's get them out of the box. They come with a little drill, so you can drill a pilot hole. This is where I lose the drill. Okay, you get a little drill, and they're basically like this. So you've got like a felt pad. Let's get you right up close so you can have a look. You've got a felt pad with a pin. So you drill the hole and then put this pin in. I wonder if these are going to be any good. They might be a bit big. Okay, so this is the size of the bit of dowel that's been used. Do you know, I think they might be all right. Okay, so that was probably a lucky purchase. So what I've got to do now is find the centre of each one of these, drill a little pilot hole, and then bang these in there. Yeah, that looks like it might work. How am I going to find the middle of the hole? I think I'll use this, which is what I use when I'm doing wood turning. Should be able to find the centre of the hole with that. Yes. Right, so it looks like that's actually going to work. I don't think that looks too bad actually. So there's like little felt pad here, plastics around, and we know it's pinned in. So I can take them out if I need to. So all I've got to do now is do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times. Right, so those feet worked an absolute treat. So that just goes to show you, next time you're in the middle of Lidl and you see something like these little feet, just buy them, because you never know when they're going to be come in handy. Okay, right, what I've got to do now is give these both a coat of oil, leave it overnight, and then give it another coat tomorrow. And the oil I'm using is this stuff, which is mineral oil. I'll give you a close up. Right, the stuff I'm going to use is this, which is pure mineral oil, and it's food safe. Okay, this is by a company called Brandon Bespoke. I've used this before on a number of projects. It seems ideal for this. So you just apply it with a piece of paper or a bit of cloth, let it soak in, and then give it another coat after you've buffed it off. So let's get a bit of cloth. Right, a quick word of warning while I'm doing this. If you do decide to treat your cutting boards, whatever you do, don't use something like olive oil or any sort of vegetable based oil. Now mineral oil is ideal for this because if you use a vegetable oil, obviously vegetable oils are derived from vegetables, and if you leave vegetables long enough, they go rotten. So basically the same principle applies. If you put vegetable oil onto a cutting board, it will eventually go rancid. Okay, then your cutting board will stink, and everything you prepare on it will actually stink. Okay, so it's not good for it at all. Okay, so use mineral oil. Pure mineral oil is better, but make sure it's food safe. Right, let me carry on with this. Right, that's the first coat of mineral oil on both of these, on both sides. I'm going to leave it now overnight to soak in. Now, where I'd sanded these down, so thirsty, they absorbed a majority of the oil straight away. So I'm going to have to wait until the morning. As soon as it's dry, give it a quick buff and then give it a second coat. And then we'll be almost done. Right, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. Right, so that's about it. They both had a couple of coats of oil now. I'll leave it a few weeks. Obviously, I'll give these back. I'll leave it a few weeks and then maybe give it another coat if necessary. It's probably very difficult to see on the camera, but these now feel so much better. Okay, they've given them a new lease of life. They've been re-oiled, decorated. This one's now got the juice channel on it, which should help with a little bit of drainage. And also on the back here, where that big stain was, that's also gone. So I'm quite happy with that one. This one, obviously it's got the new feet on it now. And I think they're going to work really well. So that's just to give you a rough idea of how to do this sort of thing using pure mineral oil and this wood bleach. Yeah, just to remember, it's not just a simple case of sanding them down, because you do go through so many discs, and that's why I use the wood scraper. Anyway, that's enough of that. I hope they're going to like these. I'm going to give them back now and move on to something else. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Right, so I've just done the juice